Hello everyone. Today's our topic of discussion is the glycolysis. What is glycolysis? Glycolysis is the first step of cellular respirations. See, this we all familiar with this equation. This is the glucose, 6 carbon compound glucose. So let us take the example of the glucose because it is the simplest form of carbohydrate or monosaccharide, right? So glucose in the presence of oxygen, it will oxidize to 6 carbon compound water molecules, and ultimately we will get the energy, right? So this is the overall equation, but it is not like that that we are consuming the glucose and in the presence of oxygen and finally we are getting the energy. This is the starting from the glucose to get the energy. There are the series of the enzymatic steps, there are the various cycles are involved, and ultimately we will get the energy. So we will discuss each cycle one by one, and right now today's video lecture series we will focus on the glycolysis, right? So what is glycolysis? Glycolysis means the glucose breakdown. See, we are having the lipids, proteins and other polysaccharides. So all those are first converted into the monosaccharide, and the simplest form is the glucose, and these glucose molecules will then enter into the various cycles to ultimately get the energy, right? This, for example, let us see if this is the cell, right, and here is the mitochondria of the cell, right? So what is the various steps involved in the breakdown of glucose to ultimately get the energy? So first, glucose molecule will enter into the cell, okay? This glycolysis process will take place in the cytoplasm of the cell. This is cytoplasm and this is mitochondria. So during the process of the glycolysis, this glucose molecule will convert into the 3 carbon compound pyruvate. Pyruvate, which is a 3 carbon compound. So for example, if we are having a food and someone asks us to cut into the various small pieces, so first things what we will do, first that we will cut this fruit into the half. For example, if we are having the apple, so the first thing we will do, we will cut into exactly the half, and after that we will cut into the various small pieces. So this is the first thing, 6 carbon compound will cut into the 3 carbon compound. So glucose will cut into the exactly half and will get the 2 molecules of the 3 carbon compound pyruvate, right? This pyruvate then enter into the mitochondria. Into the mitochondria, it will convert into acetyl-CoA. Acetyl-CoA. This acetyl-CoA will then enter into the Krebs cycle, right? So first step is glycolysis, second step is the Krebs cycle. Now see this energy, our final objective is to get the energy. So this energy will get in the 2 form. One is the ready-made form, like a cash, you can directly use it, that is the ATP. During this process we will get the energy in the 2 form. First is a direct ATP, right? We don't need to convert it into some other forms, we can use it directly. And the second thing, that is in the form of a check. 2 types of the checks are there, NADH and FADH2, okay? These are the various intermediate produced during the glycolysis, conversion of the pyruvate to acetyl-CoA, and then after into the Krebs cycle we will get this type of intermediate. These are actually the electron carrier. When the energy will be released during the breakdown of the carbon-carbon chain and another breakdown process, so that energy will be trapped here, right? if something is breaking, energy is releasing, so someone has to trap that energy. So that trapping agent is NADH and FADH2, right? And we said we can call it as a check, and this check we had to encache here in the electron transport chain, which takes place at the inner membrane of mitochondria, right? So this NADH, FADH2 will enter into the electron transport chain, and then we will get the ATP. Means we are encashing our check in the bank called as the electron transport chain to get the ATP. So ultimately, to convert the glucose, after the breakdown of the glucose to get the energy, so these are the various steps. First is the glycolysis, then the pyruvate, the conversion of the pyruvate to acetyl CoA, and then the acetyl CoA will enter into the Krebs cycle, right? And the various energy carriers molecules which will get here, NADH and FADH2, will enter into the electron transport chain. The glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and the electron transport chains. So today's our topic of discussion will main focus is on the glycolysis. Okay, we'll rub all these things. Okay, glycolysis, this is also known as a EMP pathway, because the three scientists, Embeden, Mayerhof and the Parnes, who suggested this pathway and was given all the process, all the steps of the glycolysis. Therefore, this is also known as a EMP pathway. Glycolysis has a 10 enzymatic steps, right? So from the starting from the glucose to convert into the 3 carbon compound pyruvate, it involves the 10 steps, right? The site where the glycolysis takes place is the cell cytoplasm. Yeah, it is because all the enzymes required for the glycolysis, those enzymes are present in the cytoplasms. So the glycolysis is the cytoplasmic cycle. Okay. So in the cytoplasms, glycolysis can take place even in the absence of oxygen. Okay. So though it is the first step of aerobic respiration, glycolysis is the first step. We just saw that glycolysis, then Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain, these are the complete step of aerobic respiration. So though it is the first step of aerobic respiration, but itself it is anaerobic. That means glycolysis takes place even in the absence of oxygen, right? So we just saw that glycolysis is the conversion of the glucose molecules to pyruvate, right? And if oxygen is available, so this will undergo into the Krebs cycle and finally to electron transport chain. And in the absence of oxygen, pyruvate will convert into lactic acid. This generally takes place in the muscle cell. So this is conversion during the anaerobic respiration. In the absence of oxygen, pyruvate will convert into lactic acid, and in the presence of oxygen, it will enter into this Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain. But this process is common in both aerobic as well as anaerobic. So we can call it as this is a common step, common first step for both aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration. Okay, so now let us see all the 10 steps involved in the glycolysis in details along with its regulation. Okay, so we are talking about glycolysis. Here we will see the glycolysis, all the 10 steps in the detail with all the enzymes involved and its regulation, right? So first thing, to start with the glycolysis or the glucose background, what the first thing it has to do is to enter this glucose molecule into the cell. Okay, the first thing it has to do is to enter into the cell. But we know there's the formula of the glucose, that is this is the simplest form. It has a many hydrogen and OH group. So due to the presence of the hydrogen and OH group, this molecule will become polar, right? Polar molecules means it is hydrophilic, and this is cell membrane. Cell membrane has a lipid bilayer, and we know that the tail region of the lipid bilayer, it is a hydrophobic region. So when these glucose molecules enter into the it tries to enter into the cells, that will be repelled by this lipid bilayer, because lipid bilayer is hydrophobic in nature and this is hydrophilic in nature. So it will be repelled by lipid bilayer. And one more thing, that glucose molecule is a large molecule, so it cannot enter the cells with the simple diffusion. So it requires some sort of assistant. So many transporter proteins are there, that is known as a GLUT. GLUT, that means glucose transporters. There are the various types of the glucose transporters, glucose transporter type 1, 2, 3 and 4. Some are unidirectional, some are bidirectional. That means glucose molecules can enter into the cells, and when it is required, it can come out of the cells. For example, in the liver cell, it has mainly the type 2 type of transporters, right? And one more type glucose transporter is there, that is a sodium glucose co-transporter. We'll discuss about all the glucose transporter in my next video lecture. Here you just consider that with the help of the glucose transporter, glucose molecule will enter into the cell, right? After entering into the cells, the first thing it will happen is to trap the glucose molecule, right? Because just now we had said that the some of the transporter are the bidirectional transporter, right? So to prevent the leakage of the glucose, the first thing will happen is to phosphorylate it. So C6, no, we will denote like this because it is a 6 carbon compound, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbon compound. The first thing will happen is to add the phosphate group. Because of the addition of the phosphate group, as phosphate is a negatively charged, it will become the more polar, and ultimately it cannot cross the cell membrane, right? So this phosphate will come from the ATP. That means one molecule of ATP will be utilized here. ATP will convert into ADP, and the phosphate group will add to glucose molecules, and that will make a glucose 6-phosphate. This step is catalyzed by the enzyme hexokinase or glucokinase. Okay, hexokinase, either by hexokinase or glucokinase, and this is a irreversible step. First step of glycolysis, this is a irreversible step. Remember, during the process of glycolysis, those steps are irreversible. Those are the steps which are very important, because the regulation of glycolysis takes place at those steps which are irreversible. There are the 3 steps which are highly important where the regulation of glycolysis takes place, and the first step is that is the conversion of the glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, right? We know that we had just discussed the enzyme involved is a hexokinase or glucokinase. Okay. So we had just discussed that this is the first step, irreversible step, and those are the steps which are irreversible. Those are the steps where the regulation of glycolysis takes place. Regulation means when it is required, when ATP of the cell or ATP of the body is the less, and when there is a large glucose concentration, so glycolysis process will continue to generate the more ATP. But when the energy requirement of the cell is we have the enough energy and the glucose concentration is not the much, that times the process will be stopped or the slow down, right? That is the regulation. Here we are discussing about the first step where the glucose convert to glucose 6-phosphate. Most regulatory step enzymes are the hexokinase and glucokinase. Though it is a kinase, means basic function is same, to add the phosphate group to glucose molecule to make the glucose 6-phosphate, but there is a big difference in the kinase activity of both the enzymes. So we'll discuss about hexokinase and glucokinase in detail. First step is the conversion of the glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, and the second step is the conversion of the glucose 6-phosphate into fructose 6-phosphate. This is just a isomerization step. Here is the 6-carbon compound is there, and here also the 6-carbon compound. 4, 5, 6, but this is just a isomerization, that is the replace of the H and OH group, right? So glucose 6-phosphate will convert into fructose 6-phosphate, and the enzyme involved here is a phosphoglucoisomerase. It is a isomerization of glucose to fructose, so the enzyme name is phosphoglucoisomerase, right? So before and one more thing, this is a bidirectional step. As I had already mentioned that those steps which are the irreversible in the glycolysis, those are the steps where the regulation of the glycolysis takes place. So this is not the much important step in terms of the regulation of glycolysis, right? So we will discuss about the hexokinase and glucokinase in detail, because this is a very important, and here the regulation takes place. There are the 3 steps. So there are the 3 reactions where the glycolysis regulations takes place. So this is the first. We will talk about this enzyme in detail. Hexokinase and glucokinase. First thing, that both enzymes involved in the phosphorylation of the glucose molecule. But we can consider that hexokinase is like a tempo traveler, which has a capacity of the 10 passenger. Just compare like a tempo traveler, and the glucokinase as a jet plane, and just consider that the this jet plane has a capacity of the 100 passenger, right? So we can say that even in the presence of the very few passengers are there, even if the 2-3 passengers are there, hexokinase will work. But tempo traveler can run even in the presence of the very few passengers, but for the jet plane you need more passenger, right? Same way hexokinase can phosphorylate even the glucose concentration is less, but for the glucokinase to phosphorylate the glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, it will function only when the glucose concentration is high. So this will function. We'll write enzyme here, phosphoglucokinase. So hexokinase will work in the low glucose concentration when the glucose concentration is less, and for glucokinase glucose concentration should be very high. Now there are the 2 terms involved during the enzyme kinetics, that is Km and Vmax. What is Km? Km is the concentration of the substrate, right? Concentration of the substrate where half of the enzymes are saturated. That is a Km value. And Vmax is the maximum performance, means all the enzymes are saturated with the substrate, and it will giving it's a maximum performance, maximum speed. So that is a Vmax. Let us draw graph here. Okay. So for example, This is the concentration of the glucose on the x-axis, and here is the performance of enzyme. So like tempo traveler, even with the very few passengers we can go with the tempo traveler, and after once the tempo traveler will start, after reaching to its maximum speed, nothing will happen. Initially the speed of the traveler will increase, but after reaching the certain speed, nothing will happen. It will reach its maximum speed very early. Same ways with the very few glucose concentrations, hexokinase will give its maximum speed. Hexokinase will have the high speed, but as though we further increase the glucose concentrations, nothing will happen. A plateau stage will come here, right? But for the glucokinase, initially we have not seen the jet plane is working with a very 3 or 4 passengers. For the jet plane, we will need the more passengers. Same way, glucokinase require the higher concentration. So initially it will not give any performance, but as the concentration of the glucose increases, this type of the graph will get from glucokinase. So let us see what is the Km value. The concentration, for example, this is the concentration where the half of the enzymes are saturated. Here we are giving the half of the activity, like this is also known as a V half. Half of the enzyme is saturated, means enzyme it adds half performance. So this is a Km value for hexokinase, and with further increase in the concentration, here suppose the maximum performance we will get, maximum speed where all the enzymes are saturated, like for 5 passengers are there, traveler half done, that is a Km value, right? Half done with a few passenger, tempo traveler with 5 passenger, it's filled with its half capacity, and with the 10 passenger done with it. The same way, even with a little bit further increase in, this is the V max value for hexokinase, right? But for glucokinase, as we had already seen, even with the very less glucose concentration, it will not give any performance. But as the glucose concentration will increase here, for example, this is the point, at this concentration we will get the Km value for glucokinase, right? So this is a Km value for hexokinase, Km value for glucokinase, and with the further increase in the concentration, here is the V max value. That means we will have the high performance. As the glucose concentration is increases, it will give the maximum performance, that is of higher value. So we can say that from this graph that hexokinase, it has a low Km value, low V max value, but glucokinase, it has a high Km value and high V max value, right? I hope you understood with this. Hexokinase, it has a low Km value and low V max value, and glucokinase, it will have the high Km and high V max, right? And just now I said कि even with the small glucose concentration, hexokinase can phosphorylate it into glucose 6-phosphate. That means it has a high affinity, right? It has a high affinity because even with the minimum concentration of the glucose, hexokinase can work. That means it has a high affinity for glucose. But for the glucokinase to work, it will need the more concentration of the glucose. That means it has a low affinity for glucose. right? Hexokinase can phosphorylate all type of glucose, all type of monosaccharide. Glucokinase can also phosphorylate all type of the monosaccharide, but its primary substrate is glucose. That's why the name come glucose, and hexokinase has a all type, so it can phosphorylate all monosaccharide, and primary substrate for the glucokinase is glucose, though it can also phosphorylate other monosaccharide. Okay, our most of the body cells, then we need very less glucose concentration. Even with the less glucose concentration, glucose will come, hexokinase will phosphorylate. But in the liver cell, after having the heavy meals, most of the glucose will go into the, it will come into liver. Therefore, liver cannot work with the hexokinase. It will need something like a jet plane, because high concentration of the glucose will enter into the livers. Therefore, liver cell and the beta cells of the pancreatic, that will have the glucokinase, and the most of the body cells will have the hexokinase, because they will work with the less glucose concentration. So hexokinase, all body cell or most of the body cells, most cells will have the hexokinase, and mainly the liver cell has a glucokinase. I hope you have understood major difference between the hexokinase and the glucokinase. Hexokinase, this is just for our example. It is like a, suppose we have considered it is like a traveler, tempo traveler, which has a capacity of the 10 passengers, and this is like a jet plane, right? Very shortly we will revise. As we all know, tempo traveler has a very less passenger capacity, while the jet plane has a high passenger capacity. So same way, hexokinase can work in the very less glucose concentration, and for the glucokinase, high glucose concentration is required. Therefore, it has a low Km value for the half saturation, like with the tempo travelers 5 passenger, half saturation is done. So that means it has a low Km value. Maximum performance, maximum speed we can reach from traveler is very much less than the jet. Therefore, it has a less Vmax value. Jet will have the high performance at very high speed, right? So high Vmax, low Vmax, low Km value, high Km value. It can function at the low glucose concentrations. High glucose concentration is required, right? High affinity for the glucose. Less, even with the less glucose concentration, it can phosphorylate. Now that's why it is known as a high affinity. It has a high affinity for the glucose, and the glucokinase will have the low affinity, right? Hexokinase is present in the almost all cells, and the glucokinase will present mainly into the liver cell, right? Now we will see the regulation, how glucokinase and hexokinase will regulate. Okay, hexokinase is present in the cytoplasm of the cell, but glucokinase, as we had already mentioned, see, liver cell also has a hexokinase but when the high glucose concentration is there, we will need the glucokinase. So this glucokinase, it is present inside a nucleus of the cell. This is a nucleus where the glucokinase binding proteins are there. Sorry, glucokinase regulating proteins. Glucokinase regulating proteins are there. So glucokinase will be stored into the nucleus, and when it is required, when the signals will reach that say cell has a high glucose, or body has a high glucose concentration, or the liver has a high glucose concentration, only then it will come out of the cell, it will phosphorylate, and again it will go back to its place. So let us see how it will happen. For hexokinase, its positive regulator is glucose itself. Its positive regulator is glucose. That means if the cell has enough of glucose concentration, it will give the signal. So hexokinase will come into action. It will phosphorylate. But if we have the when enough of the ATP or when glycolysis process is not required, at that time this glucose 6-phosphate, it will act as a negative regulator of hexokinase. With glucose 6-phosphate will bind to hexokinase and hexokinase will stop its activity. But this is not the case with a glucokinase, because as we had already seen that glucokinase is present in the nucleus. So when there is a high glucose concentration inside the cell, some of the glucose molecule high glucose concentration, very high, okay. So some of the glucose molecule will go into the nucleus and bind with the glucokinase, and this is the signal that cell has a very high glucose concentration. So glucokinase will come out, it will phosphorylate it, right. So this is that means the glucose is also the positive regulator for glucokinase, like hexokinase. So its positive regulator is glucose. And when enough of phosphorylation is done, so this fructose 6-phosphate, it will bind with the glucokinase and it will act as a negative regulator. That means cell has enough of the fructose 6-phosphate or enough of things will not need glycolysis further. So that means that this is the negative regulator and it will give the signal so that glucokinase will again go back into the nucleus and bind with the glucokinase regulator protein, right. So the thing which is working in a very moderate speed, immediate product is act as a negative regulator. But we know that glucokinase has a high Vmax value, the jet plane has a high speed, so we cannot immediately put the brake on it, right. First it will slow down and then will put the brake. So same way immediate product of conversion of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate will not act as a negative regulator. It will slow down and the next product, that is the fructose 6-phosphate, will act as a negative regulator of the glucokinase. I hope you have understood all these things. With the next video lecture, we will discuss the further step of glycolysis. Here we had discussed that the major step, that is glucose will enter into the cells with the help of the glucose transporter. Immediately entering into the cells, it will be phosphorylated, right. Two enzymes are required, hexokinase, glucokinase, and will get the glucose 6-phosphate. This glucose 6-phosphate in the presence of phosphoglucoisomerase enzyme, it will convert into fructose 6-phosphate, which is also a 6-carbon compound, right. Regulation, how hexokinase and glucokinase are regulated. In the presence of glucose, it will give the signals, so the hexokinase will function. That means it is a positive regulator, and first product of glycolysis, that is glucose 6-phosphate, will act as a negative regulator. It will bind to it and stop its activity. And for the glucokinase, higher concentration of the glucose, some glucose will enter into the nucleus, it will act as a positive regulator, glucokinase will come into action, and the second product, that is fructose 6-phosphate, it will act as a negative regulator and